This is the green-eyed monster stealing my sunshine. The sun does not look happy, does it? And this thing is just coming up from out of the ground, gobbling up the little sunshine I have. Hello, Nick. Nicklin. I'm not sure. If you want to type your name in the comments area for me, I'd appreciate that. That way I can address you properly. Welcome. This is the green-eyed monster stealing my sunshine. Hi, Dominion. Welcome. If that's not your real name, if you can type it in for me in the chat box, I'd appreciate it. I did this picture during art therapy and just sat down one day and this is what came out. It's not very pretty, huh? I know. I started off with the grass, the sky, the clouds, the sun, and then it just sort of morphed into something else. So this is what happens when you sometimes sit with those deep inner thoughts and you don't know what, and you just start going at it with a paintbrush and colors. So hello, here I am. How's everyone doing today? For those of you that are new, oh, there's a glare. Please type in the chat box that you're new. And I want to welcome you to my podcast. For those of you that are watching the replay, I hope I didn't scare you away with my painting. But I just thought I would open up a little bit with that and just show you that's one of the therapeutic tools that I use during my New Beginnings retreats. And we use art therapy, and I use writing therapy, and I even use a little gardening therapy. I'll have to try that one day with you guys. But so I just gave you a little insight of some of the work that I did. But for those of you that are new, my name is Marjorie Phoenix. I'm the author of the book, Who the Hell Do You Think You Are? I am a speaker and a publisher, and I publish works for women who have gone through domestic abuse or any sort of trauma, and they want to use writing to help them either therapeutically or they want to publish their works. So I help them with that, and I also provide women who've gone through abuse and trauma a way to reclaim their life through empowerment and healing. For those of you, again, that are watching the replay, if any of this resonates with you, please just heart it up. You can still leave me hearts and show some love during that time. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can't heart it up, but you can give me a thumbs up. And that is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to know more about the work that I do, I'm at marjoriephoenix.com. So let's get to it. Renaming yourself. I know it wasn't such a catchy title, and but it this process came from a workshop that I created several years ago called the Becoming Workshop, Becoming the Woman God Created You to Be. And this is just one of the processes that we do in self-discovery. And there are 3 dynamics I'm going to share with you today that will help you. It's about changing your perception, seeing yourself the way God sees you, and renaming yourself. Now, we all know that our beliefs are our foundation. So meaning that we perceive the world and ourselves based on our beliefs, okay? So basically our world is shaped by our beliefs. And a lot of us, most of us, for all of us, really, we carry this container of messages that we have received all through our lives. And this container of messages, it helps shape our beliefs about ourselves. And most of us are walking around with a false sense of reality about who we really are. Now, this can come from childhood. You might have been verbally abused as a child. Your parents called you names. Or your siblings even. Abuse happens with siblings. Or it could have been in a relationship, marriage. And for those of us that have gone through abuse, we know that it doesn't just have to be verbal. The emotional abuse too can cause that container within us to start to fill up with those negative messages. And that emotional abuse would be those things that there's like criticism and judgment and negative opinions and those sorts of things. Like, for instance, in my case, every time I came up with an idea, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to do this. I wanted, anything to better myself. It was always met with, you can't do that. You don't have enough education. You don't know enough. It could be from in childhood. You love to paint and draw pictures. And every time you would show it to your father, it was never good enough. Hi, Tony. Thank you for joining. It was never good enough. And it was always met with ways to improve it. And so you grew up with this sense of just never being good enough. And so we carry that around a lot and grow up with these messages about ourselves. So we identify with that and believe that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty. And so what I want to do is show you 3 steps that you can use to help you rename yourself and change the perception of all of this, okay? So number 1 is, what do you think about yourself? First, this is the first question I have to ask you. What do you think about yourself? What are some of those negative messages that you're holding on to right now? Like, for example, I'll use the one, you don't think that you're good enough. I am not good enough. And because you feel like you're not good enough, you don't pursue the things that you really want out of life. You don't write that book. You don't start that business. You don't go after that job. You don't go after the things in life that you want. So just think about that. What do you think about yourself? And then ask yourself if these beliefs are your own or if they were given to you by someone else. Is this what someone told you? Did you hear this from someone? Okay? Then next, is it true? Is it really true that you're not good enough? Or that you're not pretty? That you're not smart? And if you believe that is true, what makes it true? What are you basing that truth on? Where is that coming from? So this is a time for you to really examine these messages that you've received and go deep. Don't just walk around carrying them with you all through your life, but just really try to see, where is it coming from? Where is the root of this negative message that I have about myself? And does it make it true just because he said so? No. And not all the time just because you believe it makes it true either. So you really have to take time to examine these thoughts, okay? And are you basing it on the world standards of things? Yeah, I see my screen is flickering, so you must have gotten knocked out, Tony. All right, so that's the first step. Whenever these sort of negative messages come up for you, examine them. This is a part of the work that I did. I know I came out of my marriage and after my divorce, and I had to clear a lot of that stuff. You know, the thing about me not being smart enough, and I couldn't pursue certain things because I didn't have a college education, I didn't have formal training, all of these things. And now that I've gotten to the root of it, yeah, I know, sorry about that. Now that I've gotten to the root of it, I realize that it's not that. It's not that at all. I am smart, and I did decide to go to school, but I didn't do it so much to prove anything to them. I did it because I wanted to be able to achieve some things in life. So really just look at what your motivation is, where that message coming from, you know, and just self-examine. You know, I talk a lot about this, just, you know, self-examining. Now, the second part of this is, how does God see you? And better yet, how do you even see God in your life? What role does God play in your life? Does God have a starring role? Does he have a minor supporting role? Or is he in the backstage? Because if he's in the backstage, then you call God out just, you know, every time you need something, right? Props and all that stuff. If he has a minor supporting role, then you call on him just when you're in trouble, when you feel like you need his help. But if God has a starring role in your life, then there is that constant connection. There's that constant awareness, okay? You are aware of who God is and who you are. So that means you are probably reading your scriptures, you're in prayer all the time, which is going to help fill that image for you. I wrote this down last night when I was thinking about doing this, and this came to me. When you find God, you discover yourself. But when you know God, that's when you live as he created you to live. You live out that fullest potential, and no one can tell you who you are because we are created in his image. So God establishes that new identity for us. Okay, so that will help clear away. I call it an identity crisis. A lot of us are walking around with an identity crisis. And this is how you know who you are. You start there. Now, I created some I am statements, and I've shared them with you guys in the past, but this helps cement a lot of that. And this goes back to the scripture, because if you, like I said, if you really want to know who you are, go to the scripture, okay? And I love this one that, I think I can't turn it around, but this one says, I am the image of God. All right, and this is from Genesis, right? Genesis 1. And basically, my statement says, I'm the image of God. I'm the bearer of his divine image. I'm the light and love. I am power and purpose. Now that the veil is removed, I am free to become the very mirror image of the Lord. I reflect the excellence, the beauty, the power, the grace, the courage, and the crown of God. That is beautiful. I am the image of God. And the other one that I love the most, and I tell the women at the end of the workshop to go out and call themselves beloved, because you are God's beloved. I am the beloved of God. I am God's beloved daughter, and he is well pleased with me. God's favor and grace rest upon me. I am the beloved of God, and he is mine. I am loved by God and called to be a saint. I am one of God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved. And you are called yourself beloved. So I hope that this has blessed you today. Go out today. Know that you are the apple of God's eye. You are God's beloved. You are made in his image. And there is nothing that anyone or no one can tell you. Mother, father, husband, wife, no one that can tell you anything different. You go knowing that. Couple of things I want to let you know: that I still have one space available at the retreat. I would love to have you join me September 25th to 27th. One more room available to come and experience a transformation of mind, body, and spirit. I'm telling you, this is going to be so powerful. Just a beautiful bonding of sisterhood here in Beverly Beach, Florida. So if you want details about that, go to my website, marjoriephoenix.com/New Beginnings Retreat. Also, while you're there, please take advantage of my free video series. I have a 3-part video series called The Art of New Beginnings. So you definitely want to grab that and make use of that, okay? So as always, guys, it is my pleasure to be able to come on and share information with you. If there's if there's ever any questions you might have, feel free to reach out to me. I am on all the social media platforms as Marjorie Phoenix, and although I need to change that, and I'd love to hear from you. So until Friday, go out and change the world. Bye-bye.